Hello and welcome to tea leaf readings. My name is Lenore, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, let's get started. We have them out. You can see them. In the middle, we have the Hermit right here. You can see. Let me get my pen to point these out. We have the Hermit right in the center. Okay. We have kind of almost looks like summoning. It was the perfect place for this to end up with that tea stain, right? So it does look like a summoning. Below, we see the little fish. Okay, so to me, this really is about using, your abilities to manifest, to attract, to put all of your efforts, your inspirations, your motivation, and ability to really lock in towards some kind of project or, maybe getting a job, maybe getting that raise, maybe starting a business or putting more into the business, whatever it is, you're looking for that money. Yeah, I imagine, that's a pretty pretty common thing for a lot of us out here, right? But I do think that you are going a step beyond, and you are really using your ability as a world builder. And I want to explain to you why I think you must be a world builder, because I can sense that. But also somebody who has walked the path, right? Now, maybe in that magician archetype as well, that might be something that is very prominent in your being, in your current persona, alignment, configuration, whatever you want to call it. And the hermit and the magician are, closely related, of course. All of the archetypes really are, but these are two that we can see they're others, right? They're othered from society, really, the tribe, the community. These are people who walk on the edge of things, in the borderlands, in between. And I would say the hermit is like, the one that's out there foraging for information, experience, wisdom, so on and so forth. Now, the magician, of course, is the one kind of employing the dang old stuff, right? Taking all of those fragments and building it into something so that they can make their magic. So I feel like this is definitely a time where you're taking your skill sets, of course, your knowledge, of course, but also your ability to weave things together, that intuition that you definitely have, but also the ability to put that spark in there, right? Lots of people can build things, lots of people can conceive of things, lots of people can even render things, but that doesn't mean that they are able to put that divine energy into. Okay. You, on the other hand, I think so. I definitely think so. So I see here coming up, there's going to be this movement towards kind of using this aspect of your being in your ability to make money. Okay. This means that you might be doing something unconventional. It might not be, right? This could be something that you are applying to what you're already doing. Maybe, you are, I don't know. I was a waitress for a long time. Maybe you're a wait staff. You work in a restaurant. You think, well, where does magic belong in restaurants? Now, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, these are some of the most magical, profane, and magical, and there's at least 2 or 3 novice in there, right? Spitting knowledge, esoteria, really has an understanding of people in life, right? But right? You might go into a situation, you might be working in a situation, and you think, okay, well, I leave the magic at home. These people might know I'm into that witchy stuff. I might drop some gems here and there, but I keep it separate. Uh, this is a time in your life where that separation is falling away, right? The magic is woven into every aspect of our life, and everywhere we go is a theater to perform such, right? And so I see you taking this quite seriously in your work life, your volunteer life, your domestic life, whatever it is. Maybe all of them, hopefully, all of them, right? Um, I often think of, I've always had people in my life, and even myself at times, go through periods where it's like, well, I feel like I haven't been, applying myself enough. I haven't been disciplined enough. The one I always think of is when people are like, well, I'm going to start setting aside some time in the morning and at night to meditate. And I understand that. I mean, yes, ideally we would be able to have these moments that we can schedule, or we can, tell ourselves, this is what I'm going to pray at this time. I'm going to write in my journal at this time. I'm going to meditate at this time. And that's a wonderful thing if you can achieve that. Now, if you're a feral raccoon like myself, right? I have had to learn to weave these things into even the smallest moments, right? I'm doing laundry. It's about to be done, and then I got to switch it over to the dryer if I'm not hanging it. Of course, hanging it smells much better, but we've all been there where we're waiting. It's 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. You're folding stuff that's piled up. You're, maybe tidying up, whatever, and these are the times that we have. Meditate while you're standing next to the washing machine, dude. You know what I mean? I like to hit a wall sit and meditate or contemplate. I'm more of a contemplator more than I do meditate, of course, but I don't, there are various forms, and I don't think that I do what we classically think of as meditation. But maybe one day, you know what I mean? So I think we get to this point, and all of this is to say, if you are on a journey of magics, of self-work, of, just living a life that at times feels very meaningful and whole, and even sometimes joyous and beautiful and all that, we have to learn to look at the subtle, right? The little, stop and smell the roses. Look at the little things. Yeah, for real. For real. That's like the best information that you can get in life. All of the biggest meaning is in the mundane. All of the things that really feed your soul, mundane. Now, having rites of passage, ceremonies, setting aside, days and weeks and if you're lucky, months and years of your life to dedicate to rigid and disciplined work, fantastic. But is that realistic for everybody? Is that accessible for everybody? Maybe not. So we lean towards the Tao in this kind of thinking, right? It flows through all things. It is all things. It is you. It is I. It is the couch that I'm sitting on. It is the evergreen I'm looking at outside. The bird flying by. It is the sun. It is the smoke. It is my torment. It is your laughing and joy. It's all the same stuff, right? And so when we get to a point, especially if you are starting to feel, well, maybe a little concerned about what the economy is going to be like, what our lives are going to be like, what, the world is going to be like collectively, in our personal lives, in our small communities. It's all changing very rapidly, right? And we get to a point where it's like you have to use what you know, and that is a gift, right? I'm not going to be somebody to sit here and romanticize the dissolution of modern society as we know it. I'm not going to say that it is just like, oh, this is the end times. It's the end of something, something very large, some substrates, a more than one, right? That really do, at least in the Western world, that I can, and I'm guessing everywhere, the changes that are occurring. Um, it's stripping away a lot of stuff, a lot of the veneer, the illusion, and so we employ our magic into our work, into our living, into our walking, our breathing, our loving, our being together, our being apart, right? And so I see this as a time where, I mean, this is a very powerful image. Now, I did say that this is the hermit, right? So I also feel like this is a very lonely time, not only for you, but for many people, because we are having to learn new ways of communicating these deeper parts of self. And unfortunately, for many of us, we live lives where we don't have a lot of people to go to those places with. We don't have people in our lives that we can speak and they can hear us, and they speak and we can hear them in a way that feels beyond all of the surface Malkuthian, material stuff, right? And so, as things are changing and evolving, this can be very lonely. Very lonely. Not only that, man, when we are on the kind of horizon of, an old world kind of coming to its maybe peak and starting to falter a bit, the anxiety, the frenzy of all of it. These are times where things can really become quite unstable, and you will start to see that in the way the people around you behave, right? If you've never been through a crisis with somebody, buckle your seatbelts, because we're about to go through a lot of them together. We already are, right? So I think that there is the nature of the time that we're in. If you are a person who is with eyes wide open, right? It's going to be lonely at times. I mean, probably mostly, if I'm being honest. But, I don't know. Maybe you're like me. I like the solitude. I have my daughter, though. She is so far beyond me now. Not now, always. She always has been. She be dropping knowledge. I can have just the wildest conversations with her. And I'm like, man, where did you come from, you little magical, amazing? Now, I do want to point out, before I got going on the reading, I had seen in the tea leaves as they were steeping the name, Katie, then the number 105, yes, and Marie, okay? Now, let's get back to this over here. It looks like the hummingbird. We have a person standing here. It reminds me of a Leonora Carrington painting, or what is the other one's name? Leonora and Lenore Feeney? I think that's how you say it. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. We all know Dolly and, these Max Ernst or whatever, Max Ernst, I think. All of the surrealists, right? The Dadaists, the surrealists, the male surrealists, right? But the women. Have you seen the women of surrealism from, like, I don't know, the 20s to the 40s of the last century, right? 1920 to even 50, 60, right? Oh, go check out their work. Just look up female surrealists from the 1900s, man. Woo. Okay, so we also have another. Look at this. We have another hummingbird. So, to me, it also feels like maybe you're coming into some kind of understanding with somebody in your life who also works pretty dang hard. So this might be like your partner, this might be a family member, somebody you work with. You have a good flow. Now, I do feel like you're calling them in. There's some kind of project coming up. We have the number 92, and we're going to write that down, 92. And we also have what looks like, I want to say something with, now we have the wolf up here. We have the roadrunner. Oh, look at that. We got the maybe coyote and roadrunner. We have almost a sense of, and I keep seeing this as a foot. I know it doesn't look exactly like that, but when I first saw it, I was like, it reminds me of like a what's the word? A stocking, right? Like almost like a that you'd hang. I was gonna say hang at the altar. No, hang at the fireplace, right? During Christmas or Christmas or Saturnalia. Let's see, 126. And I really like to get the numbers down because I know a lot of us superstitious folks here, we like to operate off of numbers. So I feel like there's a sense of chasing, trying to really get in the way of somebody. But you have somebody else has your back, right? You have a good partnership with somebody else. Now, I almost kind of, this is strange to say, but I almost kind of feel like it's you are the person chasing yourself. And I almost think that you're like doing stuff or something, like maybe it's a hobby or maybe it's like a lifestyle thing or something that's making you not feel the best. And for some reason, I keep thinking it's the right foot. It's starting to manifest in the right foot. Like maybe you're having neuropathy or like a poor circulation, or you're constantly rolling your ankle, or you broke your toes, or multiple times. I just feel like there's something that it's something that you like doing, but it's like it's not the best for you because you keep getting these kind of injuries or just not feeling the best. That's what it just, and I think that this, of course, you see the correlation, but for you, it's like you don't really want to stop right now. But I think that there's something coming up here where it's kind of like, and maybe this is why your partner's like really like coming in and I can feel them. And again, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner or a spouse, but like there's this sense of, well, them encouraging you at least, or maybe they're really putting their foot down, but encouraging you to really take this more seriously than I think that you probably have been. Now, I'm not going to say if it's a serious thing or not because I don't know. But what I know is that within the feelings that are around you and the residue of others who have feelings that are around you, right? There's definitely a sense of them kind of worrying about you. Now, that being said, I don't think you're going to listen. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think you're a person that's you don't heed other people's warnings too often. In fact, you might be somebody that's a little bit oppositional. You might do the opposite. No, maybe not. I don't know about all that. But I do feel like this is something that now definitely is on your radar a little bit more, at least. I think that you're willing to at least take it a bit more seriously. Now, we also have the letters G, capital R. And then we have CAN, CAN, CAN. Another little doggy down here. I can't. We have the like a lot of fertility energy. And we also have it looks to me like it says jar, JAR. Fertility energy over here. Now the fertility energy, and then look at this person running, like they're reaching up. Jar. Now, the fertility energy does not have to be, like, oh, you're having a child soon, anything like that. But it can definitely be about your creativity, your ability to create resources, really a coming alive within self, right? That activation of the kunda, the fire kind of climbing the ladder, Jacob's ladder, or you could think of it as, the spinal column, right? And as that fire moves up through the chakra, up into that crown chakra, and blooms or is ablaze, right? This is where we have the idea of like awakening or activation or, to be fully embodied or in the awe, the ecstasy. This is the creativity, right? This is the ability to harness that river of fire element that flows through the universe and is the thing that brings life, right? That keeps life moving, that keeps the machine warm and going, right? And so we're in an era here for you where you are aligned to, and I forgot. Oh yeah, no, I wrote it. Okay, jar. And I feel like you're in an era where you are going to be very, I mean, it's like a time where, I don't know, for me anyways, sometimes I wake up, I'm like on it. I'm like, yes, I'm happy. I'm not happy necessarily, but I'm happy to be up and moving. I'm doing I'm doing the thing. I have all these ideas. I'm able to get the things I need and implement them. I am actually, conquering this project, this, creative dalliance I've had or whatever it is. And you're in the flow and you're doing it and you're doing it. And it just absolutely feels like some of the, I would say, peak life, peak living, right? And I also think it brings a lot of, I don't want to say it's luck, but like you're going to attract in like energy. Okay, so this is why when we're on top of, like, we're on top, it feels like everything is coming together and aligning for us. Now, this doesn't always stay this way. So when we're aligned with this kind of energy and we are creating it, and it is like we're feeding the loop, man. We're really in there. We're in the furnace, right? We are forging. You have to make use of that. So I really think that this is an important time for you to make sure that you are really harnessing that energy and making good use of your time. And I hate to be mom about it, but come on now. You know what I mean? Do not rot in bed. And, here's the thing is I know this all too well myself, is that sometimes this is right off the back of, not feeling the best. Maybe you've been depressed or anxious, or things haven't been going very well, or, you've been reading the news, and it's like, I just want to be, I don't even want to face the world. I don't even want to open up these curtains today. But you have all this energy, and it's like they butt heads, and you get stuck into a mode of being like what I call body locked. All that energy, but you're not moving. It's anxious. It just gets anxious and anxious and anxious, and you start dreading and ruminating, and all the things, right? And so I'm not you're gonna do well if you just force yourself to get up and move and do the thing. But kinda. I mean, not even, like, I'm not saying you're gonna, like, make $1 million because you get out of bed and, like, do some stuff. But you might start to feel like $1 million if you can keep doing that and get into a routine and start to really, feel better about yourself and what you're accomplishing. And if it's big, if it's small, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I feel like this is a time where it's like, if you are faced with this, kind of lingering doubt and anxiety, and you might be somebody that freezes, like something good happens and you don't know what to do. Or you might really be, like I said, oppositional. Something good happens and you're like, nah, I'm not, not for me, not for me. I'm not getting, or you try to do the thing and you bomb it on purpose. You know what I mean? You just let it go on purpose. And listen, I know that sounds silly, but it sometimes is like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess you would like to think as an adult we wouldn't do things like that. We obtain all this, what we want, and then we get there and we're like, maybe it's not what I thought it was going to be, or maybe it's better than I thought. Maybe somewhere inside of us we think we don't deserve this, or I don't know, I didn't realize, like, this, whatever. And then you just totally it's like putting the stick in the spokes of your bike, wheel. You know what I mean? So, and what happens? You flip off the bike, right? Right over the top. And I don't know why we do that sometimes. I don't know. Do you do that? Maybe I'm by myself on this, but my most fantastic fails have been when things should have just gone right, and I had to say the thing, or I had to, like, notice something that, oh, there it is, I don't like that. You know what I mean? I find the thing. And, let's not do that. Let's agree. Listen, pinky promise. I'll pinky promise you. If you don't do it, I won't do it. So let's see. We also have, and what was I going to look at here? I just want to see. I want to see. What is the jar about? Tell me about this jar. Ooh. Did you hear that? I almost ripped this thing in half. Look at my jujitsu grip exercises are getting better. Yes. All right. We have the universe. We have the Prince of Cups. We have the Six of Discs. So I really do. I feel like it's like a sense of breaking into, honestly, seeing that you can literally recreate your life based on your perception and the effort and time and things that you spend your time with, honestly. I have always been, like, very aware of the fact that I feel very different in different places. Environment, lighting, people, music, whatever. Things make me feel very different. I can feel like almost not like I'm not. It's not like dissociative identity type stuff, but you know, I mean, and nothing wrong with that either. By the way, um, I'm not judging, or I just it's not multiple personalities. Although, listen, the older I get, the more I realize we all have multiple personalities. Like, man, you know what I mean? And shout out to those who just let it go. Like, let me see that thing. I love people that are very different in different circumstances, varied. I don't know. I like somebody who keeps me guessing a little bit. You know what I mean? I am somebody who likes to deduce. So, yeah. But I don't mean like that. I just mean that for me, I feel very different in different places. I'm very keyed in on how things make me feel, right? So I feel like probably you can hear that and you maybe understand that and are nodding your head. Yes, I'm the same way. You might be somebody who considers yourself like an empath, right? Um, or some other, I don't know, some other word for it. But I feel that there is a sense of your emotions coming into a place that really, I mean, I'm not saying that they're steady, babe. That's not, I'm not saying like, oh, you won therapy and now you get the certificate that says you graduated. You know what I mean? Like your emotions and your ability to process them and flow through them and all that stuff. Perfect? No. It might be a complete mess. But they are aligning in a way, right, that is allowing you to see that you are really in charge of how you experience the world. Unless you are in some extreme situation, right? Of course, and some people are, where you have very little control over the circumstances, and really ultimately we all are in that position. But you might be in one that is not you don't have a lot of options, at least that are readily available, or some you're in a high control situation or something like this. I'm not talking about these kinds of more extremes, but I am saying that for most people, it is up to us to decide how we are going to perceive the world, how we are going to interact with that perception. Okay? If you want to be a magical person, and I don't mean whimsy and whimsical and whatever hashtag is really big right now, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the put on. I'm talking about uh, being somebody who fully experiences uh, the subtle divinity in life, right? That you see it, you interact with it, you live it, you breathe it. Doesn't always look glamorous, pretty. You're not walking around here necessarily like a monk or some sadhu or something like this. Uh, you're just building your reality. You are dancing with the divine. You might be a psychonaut. I mean, let's be real. If you're here doing that. But, it might be something more along the lines of, a Sufi or an artist or, a creative or neurodivergent or, whatever it is. And I feel like you are in a place here where you are beginning to create that world and step into it. Let yourself be it. Taking off the masks that have become outmoded, not of service anymore, right? Just a tired old thing that you've always been told, this is who you are, this is what you're like, these are the things you did or didn't do. So let's mold the mask to that, right? And then no. We're at the end of times. Well, the times that were before these times, right? We are at the end of those. It's a marked transition that we are in. There's just not a lot of time for dredging and dredging on and on and on with stuff that, like, who cares about those old histories anymore? Who wants to be that thing that just trying to get by, just trying to not, you know, tick anybody off. I don't want to make anybody upset. I don't want my family to think I'm weird, or, you know, whatever it is. Babe, talk to yourself out loud. Talk to the animals. Go roll in the grass. Go, you know, drive a car that, you know, I don't even know, like an old school car. I was going to say that uses gas or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Just do the thing. I don't even know why I was thinking of that. I don't even necessarily care about cars, or if they're old or new or electric. Well, I don't know. I care about this planet. But here's the thing too for me is that I worry about humanity during this time with the environment. I know that these celestial bodies are not gonna let us just take her. You know what I mean? Like they will shake us off like a flea. You know what I'm saying? So that aspect, I'm like, I'm not going to, you know, if Earth is a mother, is the mother Gaia, or, you know, whoever you want to call her. She's not going to be the deformed feminine. I'm not going to look at her like that, baby. Like, you know what I mean? She is in control. Okay, let's just agree upon that. Or try. You can just hear me and say no, Lenore. Of course, that doesn't mean we just live wild out here, not doing our part. In fact, quite the opposite, right? And so, yeah, we don't have time. I mean, we never have, but now we really know we don't have time. Now, I do also see over here we have, it looks like a person being followed by another person, and there seems to be almost this sense of the path getting a little crooked. I do feel like this is a younger person in your life. I think that this could be like a child, somebody you take care of. Maybe you are in a career where you're teaching kids, you're maybe in medical, you deal with children or vulnerable people or something. Now, I feel that there's going to be a time here where things are, it feels, well, like, okay, so if you've raised kids, you know that sometimes they go through these periods of time where they're just, you know, they're going through something. They're growing, they're grumpy, they're maybe not, you know, articulating a lot, or they're overly communicative, complainy, whiny, maybe even making bad choices or having behaviors that are not ideal, or, you know, whatever. I feel this energy here. There's going to be some kind of conflict a little bit, but I do think that if you take the time to put in the work to help get through this period of time, it's going to strengthen your bond deeply. Okay, I feel like this is going to be an important one. Now, they're all important. Whenever our kids or the people we're, you know, looking out for, working with, whatever, are going through a time that is difficult, especially in transition, all of those matter. But let's be real. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of like, okay, we got to keep going. We got to keep moving here. Now, this time I think there's something going on where you really are going to have to get involved in a deeper listening, being understanding, patient, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, now I gotta go. I'm on to my next thing I have to do. I'm already running late. Okay, let's do one card. I'm gonna do one card just to kind of be like, oh, this is something to, yes, there we go. Two of Swords. Two of Swords, beautiful. And actually, I should put this up here so you can see it better. There you go. Just give that a little gaze as we say goodbye. All right, so there's your power card. I love you. I love you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such a great pleasure for me. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.